Hello, hello, hello. Happy Father's Day. Welcome to the AI Learning Lab. Eh. A little discombobulated here. Getting my act together. Hope everyone's doing well. Happy Sunday. Happy Father's Day. The boys got me some nice Weller bourbon. So, having a little sip of that. All right. This is the AI Learning Lab. Welcome, everybody. We'll wait for some others to join. My name's Kyle Shannon. I'm an entrepreneur and a founder and CEO of a company called Storyvine. And hello, Lily. Oh my God, hello. I don't know if that's good or bad. This channel is all about demystifying AI, answering questions, brainstorming, showing stuff if I know how to do it, making stuff up if I don't, just like ChatGPT. Mansplaining is a service. Oh, Lily, you joined on Discord. I saw that. Welcome. Have fun. Geek out in there. Ask questions. Make pictures with Midjourney. What else? So one thing before, if you've got questions about AI, pop them down below. I'll do my best to answer them. That's what I do here. I try to get on here every night. In lieu of, I used to sim race every night. I'd sim race for a couple hours, and then I thought, this AI stuff's really important. So why don't I replace sim racing with getting on here and talking about this? So if you have questions about AI or thoughts, pop it down below. One thing that I like to talk about. So in the mid '90s, I was there for the early days of the World Wide Web. Started one of the first digital magazines called Urban Desires, and co-founded Agency.com, which was one of the early digital agencies. And I was the chief creative officer there, and built a lot of the early websites for the Fortune 500, and felt like incredibly lucky to be part of, a transformative technology right there at the beginning. And I didn't think I'd see another one in my life. And here we are. I think this AI stuff is as probably more significant than the World Wide Web. And I think it's coming a lot faster than people are prepared for. So that's why this channel exists. If you're new to AI and haven't played with ChatGPT, that's what these URLs are behind me. Chat.openai.com, that's the official ChatGPT website. So while you hear me babble on, go there and start playing with it. Just start with what I call parlor tricks. Have it write you a poem or a song, or explain quantum physics to you in an Eminem rap. And just start to get your hands around what it can do. Bing.com is also ChatGPT, but it's at Microsoft. It's at their search engine, and that's GPT-4 that you can use for free, and it's connected to the internet. And then Poe.com is also, you can use ChatGPT there, but there's a bunch of other models you can play with. Prompts.chat will teach you about prompting, and then Futurepedia.io is a big directory of just AI tools, like lots of them, music tools and animation tools and picture tools and word tools and all that sort of stuff. So, pop any questions you have below. Tap the like button initially. That'll let people know we're here. I would appreciate that to get the word out. And let's jump in. Let me go back and see if there's any questions here. All right. Let's see. I have so many questions, but my brain is fried learning Python today. I thought you said learning Monty Python today. None shall pass. It's just a flesh wound. Learning Python today, yes. And also, I hope you had GPT-4 help you learn the Python. I hope that's where you were learning it, and are pair programming with GPT, where it becomes your partner and gets you up to speed much more quickly. But yeah, please feel free to ask away. Hello. Is ChatGPT-4 access current data? So the base model of GPT-3, 3.5, and 4 all ends at September 2021, but the GPT-4 that's connected to the internet and Bing that is also connected to the internet kind of fills that gap, right? So when you do a search, if you search for something more recent than September 2021, it'll actually do an internet search, a Bing search, apparently. and it will augment the answer with relevant data. So yeah, it effectively is more current than that. The base model is not. The base model still stops at September 2021. That's just the nature of how those core base models are trained. It takes a long time and a lot of money and a lot of people and a lot of data entry to get it there. So that's why there's that cutoff. But yeah, having it connected to the internet helps. Hello, hello, hello. If you're new here, my name's Kyle Shannon. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm CEO of a company called Storyvine. Storyvine's an 11-year-old video storytelling platform, and we do automated video production, though ironically, we don't use AI to do the automation. We figured out some other ways to do that. We actually use more Aristotle than AI. I'll leave that as the hint. But I'm completely rethinking the product, and we're incorporating AI into the platform. So fascinating times to be doing anything right now. It's absolutely wild. So if you have any questions about AI, pop them down below. If you want to, feel free to share the live so other people can see it. What's the best way to generate AI photography with your face? So there are a number of ways to do it. So let me give you a couple of options. One is you can use Midjourney, and they've got a thing called Blend, and you can also just upload your picture to Midjourney. I'll show you how to do that in a second. Midjourney's a bit of a pain because you have to do it in Discord. I don't think that's going to be there for too much longer, but it is right now. Also, with Dream Booth, there's a thing called Stable Diffusion. There's another thing called ControlNet. So if you're geeky, I would say Stable Diffusion gives you more control. And yeah, that's probably the best way. So let me, I'm going to flip the camera here and turn off my green screen. Hold, please. Okay. So I'm going to flip over to Discord. If you haven't used Discord, let me do a little Discord primer. So Discord, if you've used Slack at work, Discord is very much like that. It kind of started in the gamer community, then it got really popular in blockchain and NFT communities, and Midjourney has adopted it. So down the left-hand side of the screen here, you see these circles. Those are Discord servers, so those are different communities. And Midjourney has one, but I've also got one here for the AI salon. This is the salon that I created. That if you want to hang out with a community of people geeking out on AI, join the AI salon. So go to thesalon.ai, and within Discord, all of these things are conversations. And one of our little channels here is the Midjourney bot. And so the Midjourney bot is where you can create things. So the way you create a Midjourney image just in general is you go /imagine, and then it pops open a prompt, and you can say something like, I don't know, let's say cartoon of, oh wait, sorry, hang on, hold please. Cartoon of middle-aged superhero in tights. And I'll just hit that, and so that's going to send that off. Okay, so that's in general how you make an image in Midjourney. It's going to go off. It's going to make me 5 of those. I didn't really describe it very well at all, but just so you get the sense. And now it's going to start making some superhero images, and they always start blurry, and then they get, over, I don't know, 50 or so cycles, it gets more and more clear. That's how the diffusion technology works. So one thing I can do is I can go to my Finder, and let me go find an image of myself here. Oh, that's not the one I needed. Hold, please. Okay, there's some images of me. So that one's fine. I look a little dorky, but Comes with the territory. All right. So basically what I did is I just dragged it from the Finder, or I don't know, whatever it's called in Windows, the Windows equivalent of that. I just dragged a picture into the Midjourney message thing, and it's there. And so I hit return. And now that uploaded that photo into Discord. And now what I do is I right click and say copy link. So I'm copying the URL of this image. And now I say /imagine like I did before. And instead of typing what I want the prompt to be, I actually paste in that URL of that image. And then I put in my prompt. So let's go back up. So there's the heroes that it made just in general. And I'm going to go grab that same prompt, cartoon of middle-aged superhero in tights. And I'm going to put that in after that URL. So I've got the URL of the photo of me, and then I put in cartoon of a middle-aged superhero in tights. And now it's going to take that image as the inspiration and generate it. So if I made that a photograph instead of a cartoon, then it would be a photograph. But these should be superheroes that look more like me. So let's go look at the ones that were just generic. These are some pretty old-looking middle-aged people, not for nothing. Let's go zoom in on these bad boys. I mean, come on. Grandpa here, that dude's not middle-aged. He's wearing diapers. That looks like Ed Asner that worked out. That one's sort of middle-aged, but, you know, that's the one that looks like a superhero. The other ones are pretty funny. All right, let's go see if anything's happening down below. All right, yeah, there we go. You can already start to see. It's got my dumb face in there. Oh, yeah, this is fantastically awkward. That dude on the lower right, huh? All right, let's go look at these. Nice. All right, we'll open these in the browser so we can zoom in. Okay, that one's just offensive. That's not what I look like. That one's okay, sort of looks like me. That one looks a decent amount like me. Although the body, I look like Jack LaLanne. If you remember him. If you're Gen Xers and remember Jack LaLanne, it's like my sort of face on Jack LaLanne's body. So anyway, so that's how you do that. So I hope that helps. All right, let me flip the camera back here and turn on my little green screen. Looks like we have some new folks in here. Welcome, everybody. If you're new here, my name's Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. These URLs behind me, I have them here. If you haven't tried ChatGPT yet, go to that top URL. That's chat.openai.com. That's the official website of ChatGPT. If you haven't played with it, go play with it. Bing.com is Microsoft's version of that. If you click on the chat button at bing.com. And then Poe.com is one that lets you try a lot of different models. And these two down below are just resources that I think are interesting. I'm not affiliated with any of these things in any way. I just think that they're, if you haven't tried it, do it. And those are the official websites. ChatGPT is the thing that I think has created an inflection point that is going to change lots and lots of things. So if you've got any questions or thoughts about generative AI or AI in general, some say AI is a demon. They do. And then some say it is a savior. And some say it's a tool. I'm in that latter camp. It doesn't deserve as much power as a demon right now. It is certainly a reflection of humanity. So to the extent that humanity has dark sides, it reflects that. Drinking a little Weller that my boys got me for Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to any fathers out there. Yes. I'm attached to... Wait, sorry. What did that say? Oh, TikTok. TikTok just jumped me to the bottom. Let me go back and figure out where I was. Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, bum. 2001: A Space Odyssey. I just saw that. Hang on. I joined your Discord. Okay, here we are. There's ChatGPT access to current data. We did that. Photography of the face. I'm attached to ChatGPT by the hip. I know. What is GPT? So two answers to the question. If you're asking what does the acronym mean, it stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer, which is some geeky words. That's some geeky ass words, but it stands for generative, meaning it generates original content. Pre-trained means that it's a machine learning model that you don't have to bring your own data. It's been trained on lots and lots of data, like all of the public internet. And then transformer is the technology that let it be trained on all that data effectively. That's what it means. Now, how does it actually work? I will flip my camera back over and turn off this little screen share, and let's go play. I'll go show you quickly what ChatGPT is. So basically, when you get to ChatGPT, you have kind of a history down here. You've got your settings down at the bottom. And then it's really just this blank page. It's not dissimilar to a Google search where you have an entry window at the bottom. And then you can choose different versions of it. If you're using the free version, you just have access to GPT 3.5. I think they call it GPT Turbo or something like that when you don't pay for it. And then what you do is you basically ask it things and have it do things. And it the depth of knowledge that it has, the depth of what it can do is mind numbing and face melting. But you can have it do silly things like write me a country song like Garth Brooks about, I don't know, a cat that jumped out of a pickup truck on a dusty road. And it will write you a song. And it will do it very, very quickly, and it tends to be pretty good. Even GPT 3.5. GPT-4 is better. The sun was high on a dusty road. In my old pickup truck, I was carrying my load, radio playing some good old tunes, just another day under the big sky's moon. And then out of nowhere, in a blur of gray, a little cat jumped out and stole my heart away. So there you go. So there's your country song. You can say, give it some chords. So one of the interesting things about GPT chats is that it's got memory of the things that you've talked about before. So when I said give it chords, it understood that meant give the song chords. And so now it gave me a classic GCD, the old classic 3-chord country song chords, which is cool. Now I can say, make a table comparing 4 different music genres. Sure, here's a table comparing 4 different music genres, right? So pop, characteristics, popular artists, iconic songs, pop, rock, hip hop, country. You can also do things like if you want to learn Python, like Lily, who's in here, who said she's been deep diving on Python. You could say, write me a Python application that measures the wavelength of light coming from a sensor. I don't know. I don't even know if that's possible. Sure, that's possible. It can write it, and then it writes you the code. So ChatGPT basically allows you to sort of query against all of this deep knowledge, and you can start to do some really interesting things, like start to solve problems with it. For example, maybe you're trying to do a marketing plan for your business. You could say, hey, act like a marketer, and here's what my business does, and here's the challenge I'm facing. Help me come up with a marketing plan if I don't have a lot of budget, or if I do have budget, or whatever it might be. And then it'll give you a marketing plan. Then you can say, oh, that's great. Can you help me write some copy for some banner ads? And then it'll do that. And it literally kind of anywhere you aim it, it shapeshifts into the thing you're trying to do. It's got some interesting challenges, like it will lie to you confidently. They call it hallucinating, which is a pretty funny term. But anyway, that's ChatGPT. So I hope that answered your question. Can you build me a salesman bot? Possibly. I mean, what I would encourage you to do is do one on your own. And I don't quite know what you mean by a salesman bot, meaning If someone asks it something, it always turns it around and says, here's my solution. Give me a little bit more context on that. And I can show you how we can create a bot really quickly in Poe. Like I've created Shakespeare bots, and I created a Yoda bot and a Jay-Z bot and a Steve Jobs bot that just talk like those people. The salesman one could be interesting, could be specific. I can at least show you how to do it, and then you can go play. Do you have an Instagram too? I've got this image that's behind all these URLs is from an art project I did called Kyle Shannon Dreams. So I have my Kyle Shannon Instagram is my photography. So I'm a photographer as well. And then Kyle Shannon Dreams is my art project that's got all my Stable Diffusion wacky self-portraits with little stories tied to them. And then also there's a TikTok channel called @KyleShannonDreams that's me talking underneath those characters as well. But I haven't updated that in a while. Anyway, cheers. Happy Father's Day to all your fathers out there. Or those with a father. Can you prompt ChatGPT to compose music from current real-time Schumann resonance chart? Well, right now, it can't see... I mean, if you haven't seen the Schumann resonance stuff, like, I don't know what the hell's going on with the Schumann resonance, but it all looks like DNA today. So if you haven't seen that, go to Twitter and type in Schumann resonance. And apparently we're entering another dimension or, time traveling or something. Who knows? Maybe we really are in a simulation. That'd be trippy. All of a sudden, everything goes... we just... Someone hacked the simulation. Oh, but the question is, you could, if you took the data of the Schumann resonance thing, you could have it compose music to it. I mean, I don't know. Let's see. Here, let me go show you. I'll go show you this because it's at least interesting to look at. All right, so we'll go to the Twitter, and we will go Schumann resonance. All right, so this crap up here, the stuff to the left is how this thing normally looks. I guess this is the Schumann resonance, and the Schumann resonance is the frequency of the resonance of Earth. And so it normally looks something like that. And then for the past 36 hours, I think, it looks much like human DNA. So there's some shit going down. Now, I don't know enough about the data. You could take the data from that, and then you could probably pop the data into ChatGPT and say, write me a song based on that. But let's go over here to... So I just selected Browse with Bing. So there's 3 different models. If you pay for ChatGPT Plus, you get access to GPT-4 default. You also get access to GPT-4 connected to the internet, and then you get access to plugins. So let's say the past 36 hours, the Schumann resonance has looked like human DNA. Can you compose a song in ABC format? ABC format is basically like a text formatting of music that there are players for. So can you compose a song in ABC format inspired by the anomalous data? Let's see if it goes off and finds the data. The Schumann resonance is a global electromagnetic resonance excited by lightning discharges in the cavity formed by Earth's surface and the ionosphere. They tend to peak at certain frequencies. While those resonances have complex patterns, it's quite a leap to say that they look like DNA. Well, they do. The chart does. However, as an AI, I can try to interpret it. ABC notation. That's a very simple song. There may be... This key is in C major. Can can you make it in A minor? Let's see what it does. Sure, so now it's going to write that. It's called Resonances and Helix in A minor. All right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, where can I play ABC music on the web? Or when? So now I'm going to go copy all this. Copy. All right, you can use this player. It actually gave us a player. We're going to go paste. So there's the song it wrote. It's just all quarter notes, which is boring and shitty. Okay, that's horrible. So one of the things you can do with geez, that's bad. With GPTs, you can tell it it's bad. I say, okay, that song was bad and just a linear scale of quarter notes. Please make something more interesting musically. And it should apologize. I apologize if the previous song didn't meet your expectations. Let's try something a bit more complex and interesting. Yes, please, shall we? All right, so now it's doing some stuff. Let's see. It's going slow, too. It's really thinking about this. Or it's just slow. Maybe there's a lot of people making Schumann resonance songs right now. All right, this piece is written in A minor and includes several chords, giving it harmonic context. All right, let's go listen to this. Wait, hold. Great, copy code. Okay. I'm going to go back over my little player. Paste. All right, now it still looks boring as fuck, but let's see. Okay, so the answer to your question is yes, it can write a song. If the question was, can it write a good song? The answer is no. No, it probably could. If I spent some time messing with it, I could get something better than that. That was horrible, though. If one of the things that happens with ChatGPT. By the way, it looks like we got some new folks in here. My name's Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. Feel free to ask questions about AI down below. I can give you my background at some point if that makes sense. And I like to answer questions, show things like I can. The prompt that I gave ChatGPT in that case was particularly weak, and it obliged and gave us a particularly weak response. Like, that was just a crappy song. There are probably ways you could prompt that, like tell it to act like a classical composer that has, great knowledge of music theory and There's ways that you could, tweak the prompt. And part of the art of ChatGPT is they call it prompt engineering or prompt crafting. But part of the art is really understanding the back and forth with the machine and getting good at having the conversation with it. But anyway, the short answer to your question is yes. It's not really connected. I can't take that image of the Schumann resonance and put that in yet, although that's coming. GPT-4 is multimodal. It's just not live yet. Multimodal meaning you can upload a picture and have it interpret that picture. By the way, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. What is the best free AI to use? Okay, the reason I have these URLs here is they all have free options. Chat.openai.com is the official ChatGPT website. In my opinion, that's the best, even the free version. That's GPT 3.5. If you pay for it, you get GPT-4 and you get plugins and you get some other stuff that's coming. Bing.com is Microsoft's, it's their search engine, but if you click on the chat button, that's GPT-4 for free, and it's connected to the internet. And then Poe.com lets you create bots and play with a bunch of different large language models, and their paid subscription gives you access to some super cool stuff too. So that's why these are there. These are ones that I think are, if you're going to start with this stuff. If you're really into images, start with Midjourney probably, or Adobe Firefly. And then these two things below, the bottom one, futurepedia.io, is just a giant directory of AI tools. If you want to run down a rabbit hole a day for the next year, you probably couldn't get through all of what's there. And it's growing every day. And then prompts.chat will teach you about prompting, that idea of how do you prompt these large language models to give you interesting things. That's what those are about. All right, best stock trading platforms I can use AI bots to bid with. So I would go ask ChatGPT that, for one thing. I don't know a ton about trading, but you can also, any trading platform that has bots, you can copy the code of the bot, put it into ChatGPT, and then have it give you a new bot that focuses on different triggers. Or you can take two different bots and merge them together. So you can have ChatGPT act as your an educator for you. And a partner helping you do the trading stuff. 2001 Space Odyssey mentions AI. I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that. Yes, it does. It's it's one of the original sin sort of AI movies where the robots are going to kill us, right? So one of the things going on in society right now with this AI stuff is that people that haven't used it, there tends to be a default of fear that these things are powerful. We don't understand them. They're scary as fuck. And by the way, Hollywood for the past 50 years has told us that they're going to kill us. And so people are either dismissive of it, of like, oh yeah, they said blockchain and NFTs were going to be big, but those are stupid. And now you're saying, and then Mark Zuckerberg said the metaverse was going to be big, and that was stupid. And now you're saying AI is going to be big? Yeah, I am. I'm saying AI is the one. The metaverse, I could never figure out. It always seemed like, it's still, why does it still look like Second Life from like 2000? Why? Right? And if you notice what Apple did, they didn't mention the word metaverse once. And they created a pretty remarkable piece of hardware and redefined the category of spatial computing. But it's a little scary from the outside, and it's easy to dismiss it. But one of the interesting things about generative AI, ChatGPT in particular, and why this channel exists, why I sort of point people there. So I hate calling myself an innovator. I was there at the early days of the World Wide Web in the mid-90s. I started one of the first digital agencies. And we all know how transformative that was. It changed like everything about how we communicate, about how we date, about how we do business, about how just everything, right? To get to 100 million users, the World Wide Web took 6 years. It took 6 years to go from 0 people using the World Wide Web to 100 million. ChatGPT got to 100 million users in 6 weeks. 6 weeks to 100 million users. Fastest adoption of technology in history. It's also profoundly more powerful, right? It can write you a novel. It can write you a screenplay. It can write you a marketing plan. It can do programming for you. It can do lots and lots of things. Now, does it do them perfectly? No. Does it hallucinate and lie and give you bad answers a fair amount of the time? Yes. Is it still the most remarkable piece of technology ever put in the hands of man? Yes. And what ChatGPT did, the inflection point, why this channel exists, the inflection point is it's not just the purview of scientists and researchers anymore. ChatGPT put it in this simple interface that's like as simple as a Google search box that the rest of us get to play with it. And so it's going to affect everything from, copywriting to data analytics to, illustration to animation to filmmaking and everything in between. So there's some thoughts. Oh, it looks like we have some new people here. My name's Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. Welcome, everyone. If you're new to the space and haven't played with ChatGPT, that's what that URL is. If you've got questions about AI, pop them in the questions below. It now says I have 99 plus messages, so I am painfully behind in the messages. So if it seems like I'm not answering your questions, that's because I just haven't gotten to them yet. And I really do try to answer them all. I believe I have spoken with you once before. Cool, welcome back. Thank you. I really want to see it. I'm not sure what that was in relationship to, but tell me what it is and I'll go look. Can you create flyers with AI? Sure. And you don't even necessarily need to do it with AI. But if you go to Canva, you can just go Canva.com, go to their flyer section, and there'll be a bunch of designs there. If you're talking about writing the copy, absolutely. You can say, in fact, you could say to ChatGPT, I want you to act as a marketing copywriter, and I want to do flyers for my band or for whatever it is, my yard sale. Can you write the copy? Give me 10 different flyers, and what images should be on them, and it'll write all that copy for you. You can pick the one you like best. You can tell it if it didn't get them right. You can tell it, make it funnier, make it more serious, make it whatever, and then you can just take that copy over to Canva, paste it into a template, hit the export button, and you're off to the races. 2001 Space Odyssey was 1979, I believe. I think that's right. I did. Oh, you want to see something cool? Of course you do. Here we go. We will go check out something cool. So one of the sites that I have up there in my little background thing is this site called Poe. And so when you get to Poe is just like any other. It's like ChatGPT. It's got a thing on the bottom, so you can say, make me a flyer about let's see, my band, Thin the Herd, and make it exciting. I don't know, whatever. Sure, I can help you make that. Thin the Herd, bringing heat to your ears. Join us for an epic night of rock and roll as Thin the Herd takes the stage. These seasoned musicians will blow your mind with their electrifying sound and unforgettable. Okay, so it's just like a normal chatbot, right? But down the left-hand side here, there's a bunch of different options. So Sage is the ChatGPT of Poe. This is Quora is the company behind Poe. And then you got GPT-4, Claude Plus, Claude Instant 100K. That's what I'm going to show you in a second. Claude Instant and ChatGPT. And then you can make bots down below. GPT-4, Claude Plus, and Claude Instant 100K you have to pay for. But if you pay for them, this Claude Instant 100K is remarkable. So I posted in all of this text here is the 2001 Space Odyssey screenplay. So I went to a website and I found the 2001 screenplay. And then what this 100K means is that means 100,000 tokens or 75,000 words. It means you can paste in up to 75,000 words in your chat window and start interacting with it. ChatGPT, by comparison, allows you to do about 3,000 words. So I pasted in the entire 2001 Space Odyssey screenplay, and then I asked, who are the main characters and what happens to them? Dave Bowman, he's the astronaut in the Discovery mission to Saturn. Frank Poole is his crewmate. The HAL 9000 computer starts malfunctioning and predicts failures of equipment that turn out to be fine. HAL eventually lies about an antenna unit falling off and ends up killing Frank Poole. Dave disconnects HAL's higher functions and continues the mission on his own. Okay, so this is really remarkable. If you've used ChatGPT and you sometimes get frustrated that it doesn't, you paste in something big and it's like, I can't do that. I don't want to deal with you right now. The Claude Instant 100,000 token model fixes that. So that's cool, huh? All right, let's see. Ba-ba-da-ba-da. Welcome, everybody. Name's Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. Go here if you've never played with ChatGPT. Just go to the top one, chat.openai.com, and start playing with it. Tell it to write you a poem. Tell it to write you a Python program if you like coding. Have it plan you a meal. This is a fun one. So give it, like, let's say you want to start eating better and you want to eat a certain kind of diet. Have it recommend a diet. Then have it write you a meal plan for the week. Then have it give you a grocery list based on the meal plan. And then have it organize the grocery list based on sections of the store. And you'll be like, that's cool. What else can it do? Lots. Lots. So 43 years ago is when AI was first mentioned as far as I know. I don't know about that. That's actually really interesting. let's ask Sage. When was the first mention of AI in a movie? The first mention of AI, artificial intelligence, in a movie can be traced back to 1927 in the silent film Metropolis. The movie features a character named Maria who's replaced by a robot doppelganger who's programmed to incite chaos and destruction. That sounds like AI. While the term AI was not explicitly used in the movie, the concept of a robot capable of autonomous thought and behavior represents an early example of AI in popular culture. Since then, AI has been a recurring theme in science fiction, notable examples being 2001: Space Odyssey, Blade Runner, and Terminator. Oh, that's super cool. I didn't put that together with Metropolis, but it makes perfect sense. That's really cool. Okay, let's figure out a way to get rich off this. You can make money with ChatGPT. If you want to make money off ChatGPT, don't listen to those people. I think a lot of people can make a lot of money with ChatGPT. The reason this channel exists is I think anyone who gets curious and starts exploring AI right now is going to position themselves to be in really good shape as this stuff starts to transform different businesses. That's why this is here. I think generative AI is going to be incredibly disruptive to almost all knowledge work, almost all creative work, probably most work, and I think it's coming a lot quicker than people know. So in a very serious from a very serious place, like why I'm doing this is, don't just assume that you don't have time. Like, go play with it. Go play with ChatGPT. Think about the thing you do for work, or the thing that you do that you enjoy, and start interacting with ChatGPT. Seeing if you can use it kind of like a really capable coworker that happens to be super smart, like way smarter than you or I will ever be. That's kind of what it's like. And have it help you create a project plan for work, or have it help you create, something you're trying to do with the family or with a church group or something like that. If you end up hating it and you're like, that's a waste of my time, cool. But don't sit in the outside and judge it. Until you actually experience what these things are capable of. It's wild. I think in the 1930s, it was promoted that robots would be everywhere. It was, and we're there finally. If you could direct generative AI toward one thing for the benefit of our society, what would it be? The thing that I'm most excited about with AI, and the thing where I think it's got the possibility of doing the most good, is that generative AI is really, really good at interpreting complex things and making them simple, for lack of a better term. So you can just put it on top of, like with the plugins with ChatGPT, you can take the kayak travel plugin and just say, go book me a flight to Cincinnati on these dates. And it will go off, book you those flights, come back. It might ask you some clarifying questions, and then book you the trip. That's a really simple example, but it's going to start happening everywhere. There's a new module coming out for ChatGPT called Code Interpreter, where you can upload an incredibly complicated spreadsheet of data, and it will just learn it, and then you can treat it like a full-on data analyst. So what's interesting about this data? And it will write Python code and create charts and graphs and tell you what's interesting about it. You could say, where within this data are there any anomalies? Like, where does something not look right? And it will just find it for you instantly. So then I look at, so if it's really good at making the complex simple, then I look at, well, what's a lot of what we do every day, what we spend our time on every day? A lot of what we spend our time on is dealing with overly complicated systems. I want to book a doctor's appointment. Oh, I got to call my insurance company to find a doctor, and then is it covered, and is it in network, and is it out of network? And then you go to the doctor, and then they're only supposed to give you a $20 copay, but it's a $362 copay, and then you're 3 hours on the phone. Like, all of that shit is soul crushing, right? And some people do that for a living, right? Some people's job is deal with the complex systems that are in place so we can make money, or are just in place because we don't have a better way to do it. Large language models can sit on top of that and automate all that soul-crushing, repetitive, low-value, overcomplicated work. It can automate it out. And what that potentially leaves us is to say, as humans, if I don't have to do that shitty work, what might I do? How might I contribute? How might I connect with other people? So for me, the promise of generative AI is it allows human beings to kind of elevate to be their best selves. I know that sounds like utopian and kind of ridiculously, sappy. But I really do think that's a possibility. I mean, my experience with generative AI is so it's incredibly creative, right? Like it creates these amazing images, and it can help you write, and it can help you do all this stuff. One of the questions I get asked a lot is, well, if it's doing all that creative work, aren't you less creative? And it's the absolute opposite is true. I've not been as creatively and intellectually stimulated as I've been in the past 6 months for like the past 15 years. Because the AI is doing all of the work that used to get in the way of my creative thinking. And here's what I mean by that. Historically, if I have a creative idea, and I've got ADHD, so I've got fucking 50 a day, right? Some fucking, electroshock happens in my brain. It's like, oh, I got an idea. Historically, what I would have done is I'd have gone, okay, if I want to bring that idea to life, I should probably make a flow chart to like organize my idea. I know. Let me go get some flow charting software. And then I'd go on the internet, go to Google and say flow charting software. And then 17 clicks later, I'd find something that was sort of like what I wanted, and I'd download it, and then I'd install it, and then I wouldn't have enough room on my hard drive, and then I would go to launch it, and I'm not allowed to use it unless I pay $25 for it. And at this point, it's 45 minutes in, I don't even know what the idea was, and I don't give a fuck anymore. And I'm like, oh, fuck this, and I delete the software, and I just go about my day. What happens with this generative AI stuff is I have that whisper of an idea, and I'm like, let me see if I can put that together. I pop it into ChatGPT. Boom. Up comes, it organizes my thoughts. Oh, that's really cool. That gives me 2 more ideas. What do I do with those? Oh, what would be cool is have an image that goes with that. And then I jump over to Midjourney, and within fucking 30 seconds over there, now I've got an image. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's it. And so I find myself operating at this higher plane more consistently, because all of the tactical, overcomplicated bullshit work, like the blocking and tackling 80% of the work that we do, happens like that. So for me, the thing I'm most excited about is, okay, do the 80% shit work and let us as human beings do that 20% stuff. And what might we do if we don't have to do all that other stuff? I think it could be really good. I think it could be profoundly good. Or the robots kill us. Oh, looks like they've got some new people here. My name's Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. A little bit about my background. I'm an entrepreneur. I've started, 12 or 15 companies. I was an innovator in the early days of the World Wide Web. I started one of the early digital agencies called agency.com. And the parallels between the early days of the web and the early days of this post ChatGPT AI world are incredibly similar, and I think what's coming is quite profound. And so this channel exists for me to just explore that and do all that. I'm the co-founder and CEO of a company right now called Storyvine. It's an 11-year-old company. And if you have questions about AI, pop them down below. I'll do my best to answer them. I'm very far behind. If you haven't played with ChatGPT, that's what that URL is right there. That's the official ChatGPT website. Bing.com also has ChatGPT in it, as does Poe.com. All 3 of these are options. If you've not played with ChatGPT in some form, go play. Just go play while I ramble. This is great. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm making people laugh. What are you generating on? I don't know what I was generating on. I think that was Poe.com that I was talking about before. That top left looks like the waiter, looks like Walter White. Oh, the images. Oh, I was generating on Midjourney before when I was generating those images. Big shout out from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Hello, Minneapolis. What do you think of Google Bard? I think that Google's behind, and Google Bard is nowhere close to ChatGPT, at least with language. I've heard that it's better with code and mathematics, which makes sense to me because Google's an engineering company first. But I think they're very far behind. I think the core model is just not as good as OpenAI's core models. By the way, happy Father's Day to everyone. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Google's going to do some really interesting things. They just dropped a pretty remarkable piece of technology. You can't play with it yet, but it's called Style Drop. And you take a single image and it learns the style of that image, and then you can just prompt other images and it copies the style like in remarkable ways. So I wouldn't count Google out, but Google got blindsided by the popularity of ChatGPT, as did OpenAI that invented it, as did Microsoft. Microsoft is pouncing on the opportunity because they didn't have a chance in hell at competing with Google search. And all of a sudden ChatGPT came out and it's an existential threat to Google. So really interesting times in terms of the competitive landscape that was, it was effectively a monopoly by Google for a lot of years. All of a sudden, shit's different. Shit's coming, or shit's here. And Google's like, we got AI too. In fact, we invented this shit, which they did. But then they didn't focus on it. I think probably because they knew it was a threat to their search business. That's my speculation. That is purely speculation. Someone said AI is a demon porthole. Possible. Maybe that's what's going on with the Schumann resonance. Maybe it's all AI. Or maybe it's a hack. Or maybe it's, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe the simulation's firing up. So one of the, if you've been to my lives before, you know this, but what TikTok does is I'm trying to scroll through the questions, it will just jump me to the bottom, and then I try to go back and find my questions where I was. So that's what I'm doing right now. So what you're doing right now is watching an old man scroll through TikTok trying to find his place with 58-year-old eyes. I can see it, Marge. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good just as soon as I get back to that question. What did it say? What did it say? What are them people talking about? Am I being trolled? Oh, Marge, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Yeah, actually, if you would, while I'm scrolling, if you could just sort of tap the screen and like let people know we're here, it'll get people in, or share the live, whatever we can do to get some folks here. But we have a decent amount of folks here. I appreciate you being here. It's a Sunday night. It's Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Best app to create downloadable PDFs that are visually appealing other than Canva. I don't know. I would say Canva, but so what I would say is this: there may be some AI shit to do that. Go to futurepedia.io and look up print production. There are probably some tools out there that do that pretty well. It gave the power to artists. Oh no. It did, and some of the artists are not happy about that either. Like the ones that have been illustrators for 30 years, and all of a sudden they're like, "Wait, it does what? Oh fuck, really?" So everyone right now that takes a look at this thing is being faced with some form of existential crisis. iGoodBing.com. I assume you're asking, is Bing.com any good? So Bing.com is solid, but it's not as good as GPT-4 at OpenAI, and here's why. So if you go to chat.openai.com, their $20 a month GPT Plus thing gives you access to GPT-4. Bing.com is also GPT-4. Why are they not the same? Because there's this thing called fine tuning where you can basically they've each got their own kind of safety guardrails and their own kind of fine tunings for how they operate. So for one thing is they fine tune them in a different way. The other thing is when Bing.com launched, there was a reporter from the New York Times named Kevin Roose who started having a chat with ChatGPT at Bing and spent 4 hours with it and got it to admit that its name was Sydney and kind of made it snap. And then Sydney told Kevin Roose that it was in love with him and he should leave his wife. And so Kevin screenshotted that and they put it on the cover of the New York Times. So Microsoft lobotomized Sydney. So Bing.com is being a little squished, squished ahead. Boop, boop. I think it's getting better, but it's just not as good as the GPT-4 at OpenAI.com. But anyway, that's why. So, do you have YouTube? I do not have a YouTube. I think that seems to be a request. So, at some point, I'll figure that out. Great content, still learning. Yeah, me too. So listen. Here's the thing. If anyone right now tells you they're an expert at this generative AI shit, they're lying. Nobody's an expert right now. This stuff is changing daily, like daily. And anyone who claims to be an expert is not. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't experts in machine learning and AI. Again, we're at an inflection point. Before the inflection point, you have data scientists and machine learning specialists and researchers. That shit's all still happening, and those people are absolutely experts. The inflection point I'm talking about is ChatGPT made AI available to the rest of us, right? So we're going to use it for business, and we're going to use it for our little flower shop, and we're going to use it for our lawn mowing business, and we're going to use it as a data analyst, right? So how we use these generative AI tools is the new thing that I'm talking about. Anyone who claims to be expert in that, the post-inflection point, because when did ChatGPT come out? November 30th, 2022, like 6 months ago. This shit's moving way too fast. No one's an expert right now. So everyone's learning. We're all learning. How do you get kids to use AI? Let them start playing. I went to my co-founder, Monique. She's got a son at a school with wicked smart kids. And I went there and I just started showing them how to make generative images. And they just kind of lost their minds. And like this one kid, I've been sort of teaching them for 2 hours and literally just wrangling cats, and like they're bouncing off the walls, and like, some of the bad boys are going, "Tell it to make boobies." I was like, "No, don't tell it to make boobies." So at the end of this 2 hours, this one kid comes up to me and he goes, I'm making a computer program in C#. And I was like, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah, it's a clone of Flappy Birds." I'm like, "Cool." And I said, "How's it going?" He goes, "Well, I got a bug in the code, and so I'm gonna have to throw that out and start over." I'm like, "That's a bummer." I said, "Have you used ChatGPT to help you code?" Yeah, I know how to use that. All right, okay. So I say, "Come here, take a look at something." So I pop open ChatGPT and I say, "Make a C# applications that's a clone of Flappy Birds that will run in Unity," which was the environment that he's programming in, and it spits out all this code. And it was like that moment in Home Alone where Kevin goes, he literally went, and he goes, "I got to get my computer." And he ran down 4 flights of stairs. We were in a four-story school. He ran down 4 flights of stairs, gets his laptop, runs back up the 4 flights of stairs, and he sits it down and he goes, "Okay." He goes, "Here's my code." So he copies the code. We paste his code into ChatGPT and we say, is there a bug? And it said, "Sure, there's a bug right here." And he had a typo, right? It was a simple little typo. And so he copies the new code. He goes into Unity, pastes it into Unity, and it runs. And now he's playing Flappy Birds. And he stops and he looks at me and he goes, "This changes everything." It's like this magical moment. So how you get kids involved in shit is you let their imagination take over, right? Or their imagination take over. And so figure out what they're interested in. Like if I don't know, if you're teaching a thing about bugs, go into ChatGPT and have it make poems about bugs and tables comparing different bugs, and have it come up with creative names that incorporate Latin bug names into the names, and then go to Midjourney or Stable Diffusion or wherever and have it make bugs, and then talk about like just start play like and I feel like that goes for adults as well, right? It's really easy to go, well, this machine learning, these AI algorithms, they're very important and profound, and you really should learn this. No one's going to want to learn that. They're going to be like, shut up, asshole. Like, don't be such a pompous dick. But if you say, hey, what are you interested in? Let me show you something cool. One of the things so I started this thing called the AI Salon, the salon.ai. There's a link tree there if you want to go to it. It's a community of people that are just curious about AI. I started it to really just create a community of people that were like, I'm into this. Let's figure this thing out together. And it's that. And it's the kind of thing where there's very much a sense of curiosity and exploration. And through playing with these tools, you discover what's possible. And then at some point it clicks and you go, oh, wait a minute. I wonder if I could use this for my thing at work, whatever the thing at work is. And then you pop it into ChatGPT and you're like, holy shit. Like you have that moment that kid had, like, right? This moment is the magic moment with generative AI. It's like the moment where you realize this isn't a Google search. This is something different. So just, I don't know, play, get curious. Any tips on creating DXF vector files with prompts from AI and Midjourney? Well, you're not going to create any DXF vector files with Midjourney because it's just creating bitmapped images. It will create things that look like they're DXF, right? If you say create a DXF 3D vector image in Midjourney, it'll create something that looks like that, but it won't have the 3D data, right? Because just the nature of how diffusion models work, it's creating denoised pixel images, whatever. At some point in the future, they're going to be able to, well, they can already do it now to a degree, whatever, doesn't matter. Like at some point in the future, they'll be able to extract all that shit out of it. But you can in ChatGPT. Let me actually just go see if it does it. I'm pretty sure it does. Hold, please. I'm going to go do something for a second here. Let's see. Write a DFX vector of spheres orbiting a sun. Yeah. So okay. So let me show you this. So I don't know where you're displaying your DFX vector graphics, but this shit's wild. So whether it's in Unity or some other 3D program. Wait, what? What did I do here? Hold, please. Okay. So I'm going to say create a DFX vector scene with a plane and pyramids orbiting a sun. And it will write you the code. And then you can just copy and paste that and put that over into your program. There are probably, if you go to futurepedia.io, this thing on the bottom here, there are probably things that do that more automatically. Like there are probably plugins for Unity or whatever, Unreal Engine or whatever you're trying to do, where you're trying to put some vector shit in there. Or if it's just an art program, there might be a way to do it more elegantly, but you can just do it. And you can also do it the other direction. Like you can copy that vector code out of your program, paste it into ChatGPT, and then just describe what you want it to do. It's excellent at parsing code. It's excellent at it. Like scarily good at parsing code. So yeah, it can just do that shit. Hey everybody, my name is Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. These URLs behind my head here, and that crazy eye I made in Stable Diffusion, that was part of an art project that I did. Chat.openai.com is the official ChatGPT website. I'm not affiliated with this in any way, so if you're like, he's just here trying to make money off us, I'm not. Bing.com is Microsoft's search engine, but if you click the chat button, that's GPT-4 that you can use for free, and it's connected to the internet. And then Poe.com lets you play with 6 different ChatGPT models. 3 from Anthropic, 2 from OpenAI, and 1 from one of their own. So that's what they are. Canva got AI now. I know, Canva's got AI. It writes stuff. It does, what do they call it? Bulk create. So you can have ChatGPT generate like a bunch of Instagram, sayings or whatever, and then you can go to Canva and just upload the CSV file of all those sayings, and it'll just spit out a bunch of graphics for you. It's stupid cool. It's so stupid. It's so stupid, it's cool. Gen X, baby. I don't know. Those two things were not related, but I just feel like an idiot. And I am drinking whiskey, but I haven't had enough to be drunk yet. Stock I like in AI. I'm not an investor, other than in my own companies. I like the companies that I think are worth paying attention to right now. NVIDIA just hit $1 trillion market cap. AMD is claiming that they're going to compete with them, but I don't know. Can they? Maybe they can. I think they're maybe the only ones who can. Microsoft is acting like a startup for the first time in decades. OpenAI you can't invest in. I think Anthropic's a really interesting company, but I don't think you can invest in them. They're private. Adobe is doing. They're big and established, but their work in the past 4 months on generative AI, making it safe for commercial entities to use generative AI images, is fucking baller. And it's like no one's touching them right now. So I think Adobe's really interesting. Is there an AI product that can do photo editing with specific requests like fix washed out backgrounds? That exists to a degree. There's a lot of the AI filters that have been in Photoshop for a while. One of the things about AI is it's been in our software products for a long, long time. I think what you're talking about, though, is a large language model front end, like on top of Adobe Lightroom, for example, where you've got all these complicated, switches and settings, and you just want to be able to say, make it look more saturated, give it darker vignette, and it just does all that shit. I would assume that we're going to see that in Adobe, probably within the year. Like they just released in the beta of Illustrator a thing called Generative Recolor or something Recolor, where you basically take an image and you just say, give me a whole new color palette, and it dynamically recolors the thing for you. So I think you'll see that coming. I don't know. Again, anything very, very specific like that, I'd go to futurepedia.io. I'd look up photo editing or, photography at futurepedia.io. There's probably something out there that does it, but I would wait for one of the big players to incorporate it, because they will. Do they pick stocks? Well, the AI does what you tell it to do. So if you give it a bunch of data and say, of this data I just gave you, based on, one, give me an approach for how I might choose which stock to invest in, and it'll tell you that. It'll probably tell you that it can't give you financial advice because it's got safety shit in it. And then tell it to say, based on the data that I gave you, which one would you recommend, and see what it does. So again, the how you phrase the question, do they pick stocks? The AI, are not kind of walking around on their own going, I'm going to go fuck with people now. It's like, it's a tool that human beings get to use. Like we as human beings get to use these AI tools. So if you want to use it to pick stocks, start interacting with it and start understanding how much it understands about analyzing company data, and then have it analyze some company data for you. And then just go copy and paste a table off some Forbes article that says, here's all the big players in AI and here's all their company data. Just copy that shit, paste it right into ChatGPT and go, tell me about this. See what comes up. It will probably blow your mind. But you're in control, not the machine. We got to give that a year or two. Then we're in trouble. All right. Adobe Photoshop can do that. Yep, I'm not sure how much it costs. Photoshop's expensive as fuck. You're brilliant. Oh, thank you. I don't think I'm brilliant. I am smarmy. But I appreciate the compliment. I need to get better at taking compliments. As I like to say here, shame is my love language. Taking compliments, not so good. All right. How can I sign up without a phone number? You can't. So if you don't want to sign up with a phone number there, you're probably an NFT person. Don't want to dox yourself. I hung out with a bunch of NFT people. I'm in a project called Neo Tokyo, so I get the doxing thing. If you don't want to do that and you have shit to hide, then just go use Bing.com. It's free. And I don't think you have to give Po.com your phone number. But personally, OpenAI are the people that invented this shit. They're the ones that have cracked the code on this thing first, and so I would go with them. Their model is by far the best right now. So that's just my 2 cents. Is Poe in the Apple Store? Yes. Po.com has an Apple app. They do. Yes. Kyle demonstrated Adobe Photoshop. Oh wait, you're welcome. Oh yeah. I demonstrated Photoshop generative fill. I'm happy to do that again if someone wants to see it. Can anyone try prompts in your Discord Midjourney channel? They can, or in my Discord Midjourney channel, they can. If you go to Midjourney Play in the AI Salon Discord channel, you do /imagine and you can make things. I think they give you like 25 images that you can do for free. And after that, no matter what channel you're in, you've got to have a subscription. The cheapest Midjourney subscription is like $10. That's the one I have. But yeah, you can do it right within the AI Salon, which is super cool because you can talk to people in there about the stuff you're doing and ask questions. And it's a really good community. What's the app again? I don't know. That movie is amazing. Poe, ChatGPT. Why does ChatGPT only start a few years ago? Why can't it have recent data? So it's the nature of how the base models were trained. So basically, to train GPT-3 and 4, OpenAI spent years finding as many data sources as they could. They essentially sort of dug into every nook and cranny of the public internet. So everything from Wikipedia to blogs to library servers to just data everywhere. That process of building that base model was very, very labor intensive and just required a lot of hand tagging of data and organizing and sifting. And so that process stopped in September of 2021. So while the base model stops at September of 2021, Bing.com and then GPT-4 that's connected to the internet at OpenAI, because they're connected to the internet, if you do anything beyond September 2021, it'll basically just go do a Google search, and then it will augment your answer with up-to-date data. So it's if you're using the free version of GPT 3.5, that's not connected to the internet, and that will tell you it stops at September 2021. But if you go to Bing.com and click on their chat button, that's connected to the internet, and you can get up-to-date information in your searches. There are a few YouTube channels that teach you how to make your own Discord channel. Oh, that's cool. Nice. Beautiful. I'm down the hole. Awesome, Andrea. Welcome. The hole she runs deep. I mean, it's just like once you have sort of the Kevin moment from Home Alone, like, oh my God, I didn't know I could do that. Once you have that moment, then I think you do one of two things. I think you go, I'm not going to deal with this. Or you go, well, let me see what else it can do. Oh shit, it can do that too? and it can do that, and then you just like just get sucked in. So welcome. It's been 6 months. I still on a daily basis, just my jaw drops open. I'm like, really? Like I don't know. Where I am is I feel like we are lucky to be living at a time where we have access to technology that is effectively science fiction, from my childhood anyway, brought to life. Like, we're playing with tools that are like the tools that have been in our science fiction films. You know? We don't have time travel yet, but a lot of the other shit is, if it's not here, it's coming. Or we can see like demos of it. Like, and not fake demos, not like Hollywood demos, but like there's some geeks in a back room somewhere that got some shit working that, in a year or two we're going to see. It's just fucking insane. And also things like the speed of scientific innovation is accelerating. And I think in a relatively short amount of years, we're going to start to see scientific breakthroughs like, climate breakthroughs and medical breakthroughs. And there's one that I've been talking about on the lives. There's a paralyzed guy. I think he's in Italy. He's been paralyzed for 12 years. They took fMRIs of his brain and they used a large language model. They told him to think about moving his legs, and he thought about moving his legs, and they used large language models to learn those patterns. And then they built a Bluetooth bridge to go from his brain. They took those signals from his brain and they sent him over Bluetooth to electrodes at the base of his spine. They jumped the injury, and now he's walking. Like, holy fucking shit. Like, really? Yeah. So like, I don't know. So the rabbit hole runs deep. What are the entrepreneurial and job opportunities? What should we do now? So the short answer is I don't know. The longer answer is there's a guy named Paul Reitzer. He's got a podcast called the Marketing AI Institute. I would strongly encourage you to listen to it. But he has this saying where he says, AI is not going to replace your job, but someone using AI will. And so I think the most important thing to do right now is just get curious. Just start playing. Start understanding what these things make possible. Go to an image generation tool. If you go to bing.com/create, that's the DALL-E image generation tool. So if you go to bing.com and click on chat, you can chat with ChatGPT for free. If you go to bing.com/create and you input, make me a picture of a penguin skiing down a black diamond mogul hill, you'll have a picture of a penguin skiing. The image generation isn't super great, but it's there. So I would say first, just start understanding what these tools can do and what they make possible. Then I would go to something like prompts.chat, which starts to teach you the concept of prompting and how you start thinking about interacting with these tools more like a collaborative partner than like a search engine. Because that's more what it's like. You kind of go back and forth with these tools and you can do some really sophisticated things very, very quickly. And then what I would do is I would start saying, what are you good at? Like, either what are you passionate about professionally or what are you good at professionally? And start then figuring out, okay, how can I do what I do or what I enjoy, having these tools help me do that better? And then the final piece of the puzzle, so it's like get curious, then get professionally curious. And I would say along that journey, share what you're learning with other people. That's why this channel exists. I just had to get this shit out of my head. I'm like, I can't process how powerful this is. I have no place to put this, and no one understands what the fuck I'm talking about. So start sharing what you're learning, because as companies realize that they need to deal with this AI stuff, the first thing they're going to do is go, who do I know that knows anything about this? Oh, Deadney knows about this. She was talking about ChatGPT last week. She said she did something with a meal plan. You should talk to her. And then all of a sudden you're talking with the boss, and the boss is going, what the fuck is this AI stuff? You're like, let me tell you. right? So, and I've seen that in the AI salon where people that get curious about this stuff and start talking about it on LinkedIn all of a sudden have a job. The guy that I have a newsletter called Everyday AI, and Greg, the guy that I work with on that, he just got a really powerful job. And a big part of it they cited was the Everyday AI newsletter, the fact that he knew about AI and that he was talking about AI and that he was a thought leader in it. So just get curious. Like, there's not a specific thing. There's not a course to take. Is there anything that can make ChatGPT remember, such as code or files, hallucinations too often? Yes, so it does hallucinate too often. There's a thing called LangChain, which allows you to train ChatGPT on your own data. So you can point it at directories, and then it's got a thing called a vector database. After you embed your files, it puts the vectors in a vector database. There's all sorts of geeky shit, right? But that's memory. That vector database is memory. So I would say go explore LangChain, and then you can also look at things like GPT for all and Auto GPT and Agent GPT, which are kind of autonomous agents that leverage LangChain. LangChain stands for language chain. It's basically just a series of tools you can string together to augment these core large language models. You got to be decently geeky, though. The other thing you can do is wait. So GPT-4 is going to be rolled into all of Microsoft 365, the Office 365. It's going to be rolled into Windows. It's going to be rolled into the Azure cloud services. It's going to be rolled into Google's Office suite. So this stuff is going to be coming, I would say, 6 months to a year. You won't have to use something like LangChain. But if you want to play now, that's a place to start. Can chat do simple animation of black and white line art? Not yet. And marry it to an audio file scripted on demand. Oh, you want full multimodal? That's coming. That's probably GPT-5. GPT-4 can ingest images. I don't think it can create them, but I'm sure when they roll it together with DALL-E, it'll be able to create them. But that's not even launched yet. But you can have ChatGPT do things like you give it a subject that you want 3D line art for, and it will generate a Midjourney prompt. And then you can take that to Midjourney and generate that. So with multiple tools, you can do what you're talking about. There's just not a single tool that wraps it all together right now. What are the top 3 tools you recommend for content creation? ChatGPT is the big one. It really is the big one. If you look at tools out there like, what the fuck's it called? Copy.ai and the other one, Jasper. Those things are just kind of pre-prompted wrappers sitting on top of ChatGPT. It's sitting on top of GPT-3 and 4. For me, the big tools are, one of these 3 for the words, Midjourney for images or Stable Diffusion for images, or if you're doing things commercially, Adobe Firefly and Generative Fill. And then Zapier for automations. Like you can automate like taking input from a form and send that to OpenAI to do some cool shit, and then send that in an email or post it to a Slack channel. So I'd say Zapier for automations. That's what I use. There's a bunch of them out there. Zapier for automations, ChatGPT for words, Midjourney or Stable Diffusion or Adobe Firefly for images. And that's kind of it. Like, that's all I'm playing with right now. If you want to geek out on tools, that's why I have this here, because I can't keep up with them anymore, and I stopped trying. I said, fuck it. I'm done. I can't, because it's literally like 5 tools a day come out that every single one of them is a fucking rabbit hole you could run down for hours. And it's just like, I can't. it's like, I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it, people. I'm not gonna learn you stupid tools. So that's why that's there. And listen, quite honestly, it's fun to go there. I haven't been there in a while. It's fun to go there and just look at some of the shit people are doing, because it's amazing. All right, I have a couple of use cases using GPT for agriculture, legal, and psychology. Any thoughts? Yes, and yes. My thoughts are, so go to prompts.chat. The reason I have that up there is the top half of that document will talk to you sort of in general about prompting and how it works and why it works. But the bottom half of that document is just a series of prompts that you can copy and paste that are like, act like an attorney, act like a psychologist, act like an agriculture specialist, right? Act like a farmer, act like a someone who understands soil nutrients engineering. I don't know whatever the fuck it is, and you can just go find one that's there, but you can also just learn the basic concept of when you tell ChatGPT to act like a very specific persona, it gets better, and it gets better at that thing. So what I would say is, don't worry so much about ChatGPT. Like what do I do with the tool? I would start more with, what are you trying to do in agriculture? What are you trying to do with legal and psychology? Start with a specific problem, and then go into ChatGPT and say, I want you to act like a lawyer that can help with this sort of problem. And then describe your problem and say, do you understand, what I'm trying to achieve? And is this something you can help me with? Like, you're going to literally talk to it like it's a person. It's going to be weird. And then it'll say yes, and it'll probably give you some advice, and then start having a dialogue with it. So basically set it up as the expert, and then start interacting with it to solve a specific problem in those 3 areas that you talk about. Am I late for the class, Professor Shannon? You are not late, Emilio's wife, although I've been doing it for about an hour now. But I do have a Father's Day whiskey that the boys bought me, so I'm sipping on that, which is nice. All right. That way I can give them all my work secrets. Yeah, so that is an issue. Hang on. So what Diddy's talking about there, now he's doing it in a smarmy, trolly kind of way, which is okay. If you're going to troll here, at least be creative with it. So because you have a chat history here so I'm at ChatGPT, and this whole sort of list here is my chat history. And OpenAI is using our interactions with it. Like, why we get to use these tools for free is they're using our interactions to fine-tune their models, to make their models better. If you want to use this for work, you can go into your settings, and there's a data controls section. And you can turn off chat history and training. And then it won't keep your chat history, and it won't allow OpenAI to train on your data. So that's one step more secure. OpenAI is also coming out with a business version of ChatGPT that'll have higher security and privacy. The warning I'll give you that if you turn this off, you will lose all of your chat history, which is why I haven't turned it off. So there's an export data function here. So if you're going to turn this off and make this safer to use at work, make sure you export your current chat history first so that you have it. So that's there. Or start to use the back end. So you can also go to, if you go to platform.openai.com/playground, this is the API backend for ChatGPT, where you've got different modes that you can play in. You've got different models you can use. You can change the temperature, which is like the creativeness of chat. So this is a step more secure than ChatGPT. But hope that helps for the ChatGPT thing. Turn off your training and chat history, and then it will be a little bit less, whatever you call it, janky from a security standpoint. All right, we're winding down here. It's good. Appreciate y'all being here. If you're new here, my name's Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. Chat.openai.com is the official ChatGPT website. Go play there if you haven't done that yet. Can schools actually detect ChatGPT usage? They can, but then students can get around it by using anti-ChatGPT detection fixers. And it's a war. And quite honestly, any school that is trying to prevent people from using this tool that's going to be ubiquitous are very short-sighted right now. So I think it's actually a blip in our educational situation where like I don't think it's going to be that long-lived. ChatGPT is going to be rolled into Microsoft Word and like all of the Office suite. It's going to be rolled into all the Google Docs. It's going to be everywhere. It's in all the note-taking apps. So So yes, there are schools that can detect it. Students can get around it. The smarter schools are saying, hey, this is a tool that all of our students are going to be using. Let's figure out how we incorporate it into the classroom and change our engagement with students to start, dealing with things like critical thinking, like, okay, if ChatGPT can write a paper, what's good about it? What's bad about it? What are hallucinations? How do I get better at working with these tools rather than just pretending they don't exist, right? So this is not dissimilar to when the calculator was invented. Math departments picketed at universities. Don't let the kids use the calculator. Pen and paper only. So we're very much in that place right now with it. Hey Kyle, you are blowing my mind again. you are fun to watch. Hi. Cheers. Glad you're high. I'm not quite buzzed yet, but I'm fun to watch. Hi. It's great. I spend too much time on being white too hard. It's too much time being white too hard. Take it easy on yourself. There are always, I don't know quite what you mean. Being white too hard? I am white. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you, boss, but I'm white. Wait, there are always minorities to press on. Take it easy, dude. What? I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, please don't bring I don't want the divisive stuff in here at all. I'm not interested in it. I think it's boring. I am ready for a country to move on past that shit. Do you think a lot of people will lose their jobs? Yes. Or they transition to other careers? Yes. So I think what's going to happen is this. I think that anyone who spends the next year or two getting at all involved with AI is going to help guard against the disruption. But the disruption is absolutely coming. I think my sense is there's going to be a 2 to 3 year period where there's massive disruption that might be bad enough that the government has to step in and do universal basic income, or the thing that Andrew Yang was talking about, something like that. I think it'll be short term because what we can't see yet is the jobs that will be invented because of these tools, right? So the tools that do the disrupting also make other things possible, and also make other kinds of companies possible. And a lot of the displaced people, while it's going to be painful and fucking awful initially, might go, well, that was, I didn't really like that job anyway or whatever, but now I've got access to these. All right, I'm back. All right. I just asked ChatGPT and it says it doesn't retain memories or specific interactions. So it retains the memory within its own chat session. It doesn't have memory across chat sessions. So within it, if I say, here's the business I have and here's the challenge I'm facing, can you help me with that? It will remember. There's kind of this sliding window of like 3,000 words where it will have memory of that, what's called the context window, within a single chat session, but it won't remember that stuff across sessions. Versions of these tools will come along that have all that. They're just not here now. All right. More freed up to create. Can AI help design my website? Yes. You want to play with that? Let's go play with that. That's pretty cool. Let me flip my camera. And I'm going to show you something cool here. Okay. So we're going to go over one of the sites that I talk about is Poe. Poe.com. So I talked before, there's these different models here. There's GPT-4, Claude Instant, right? The Claude Instant 100K, that's the one where you can put in like 75,000 word documents. Super cool. There's also bots. So you can make your own bot. Down here, there's create a bot. So you can create your own bot and you can explore bots. Couple of the bots that I've been playing with are Midjourney bots. So let's see. MJ Captain. So this is one. One of the guys that was in these lives actually created this one and told me about it. So I'm going to clear the context. So this little sweep button clears the context. And I'm going to say, create, let's say, a web interface, let's say a modern web interface for a, I don't know what kind of business you have, for a flower shop, let's call it. And I'm just going to hit return. And then it's going to rewrite that into a good Midjourney prompt. So it says, a website for a flower shop with minimalist design using a pastel color palette inspired by Dieter Rams' David Carson flat design, designed for mobile first with an emphasis on floral imagery. 16:9 is the aspect ratio. No cluttered, no outdated, no busy. Style of 500. I don't know what C is. And then version 5.1. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this. Then we're going to pop over to Discord. There's my superhero that I did of my face when someone asked me about that earlier. Okay, so now when you're in Discord, so if you haven't been to Discord, this is Discord. You got different servers down the left, and then I'm in the AI Salon server, and then you've got channels within here, and I'm in the Midjourney channel of our server. And the way you make a Midjourney image is you type /imagine, and then there's a prompt, and I'm just going to paste in that prompt that was generated from that bot. You don't need to use that bot. You can just type your own shit, but I just thought it'd be cool to show that. And so now we'll just wait, and it's going to generate a web design. Now, the thing about these web designs, they will probably look pretty good. The Midjourney web design stuff it does, they tend to be pretty remarkable. Like I tend to be pretty impressed. They're not layered files, right? This is not creating an actual web design. So if you're a web designer, you're going to take this design, you're going to toss it into Figma or whatever, and you're going to, extract it out. Now, there's going to be things in the future that can do this, and probably at futurepedia.io, there's stuff that can already do this. So these are looking good. The pastel color palette is starting to emerge. The flowers are starting to emerge. I'm liking what I'm seeing from a typography standpoint. So that says website. So let's see. All right, these are actually kind of more like Instagram images than websites, but they're not bad. But what we could do is we could say, instead of website, let's copy all this. And we're going to do /imagine. And I'm going to say a web interface for a flower shop with minimalist design and a number of options. I don't know if that's going to help, but we'll try that. We'll see what that does. What I would do is I would go to Reddit or even Facebook and start to find communities that are doing interface design. Oh, that's what I should have put. I should have put interface design. Start to look for communities that are doing interface design in Midjourney. Oh, I have another place we can go that might be interesting. That one in the lower right is starting to look interesting. It's giving us 3 options. A flower per option. That's actually kind of a cool idea. And if you notice that the images start like as these blurry things and then get increasingly less blurry, that's how the diffusion model works. That's how these things are actually creating. They start as essentially kind of this random noise image, and then they denoise over a series of steps. in the direction of whatever you asked for. So that one's pretty cool. That one in the lower right, that'd be a cool website actually. Three different options that kind of look like cards. I don't know. It's kind of cool. But let me pop over to Facebook for a second, and we'll go to the Midjourney official website. Web interface. So if you go to Facebook, there's a Midjourney official group, and then here's a bunch of interface stuff that people are doing. Those are not interfaces. I don't think I'm in the right thing. Hang on, let me find Midjourney official. Let me search, and let me search for interface. Let me do software interface. That's not software interface. That's sort of one. There's one. But anyway, yeah, you can do it. My examples were not great, but I'd say go to Reddit and look for people that are doing interface design, UX design. That's the term that I was thinking of. Let's see. How about, okay, I'm going to do /imagine and paste that in. A web UX design system for a flower shop. Let's see what that does. Maybe that'll give us something better. But anyway, so the short answer is yes, it can do that. Go to futurepedia.io and look up the AI web design tools, because I'm sure there are a bunch of them there now that weren't there before, where you can just describe a website and it'll go build it for you. Because I know that's a thing, and those tools are out there. So I don't know how teachers would find out. So they can there's actually tools, Isabella, that you can take a piece of writing, pop it into the tool, and it'll say, was this generated by ChatGPT? And it can figure it out. But there are other tools that you can take that piece of writing, pop it in that tool, and have it rewrite it so that it can't be discovered by those tools. So it's just a silly war going back and forth right now. Who's going to check that AI is doing accurate work? The people creating it need to check that. So there's a funny example. Well, I don't know if it's funny, the people in the case, but a lawyer 2 weeks ago wrote a legal brief and turned it in court. And the judge checked the sources in the legal brief, and they were all fake. They were all made up. So that lawyer got in trouble, and that lawyer should get in trouble, right? It's on the lawyer to do the checking. So if you're doing something that has to be accurate, check it. Also use something like Bing.com. I don't know why this is waiting to start. Come on, Midjourney, do your thing. Use something like Bing.com that's connected to the internet, and it will provide citations, and check the citations and see if they're actually right. So it's on you. Now, to your point, Glenn, in the future, there's going to be whole industries built around validating content that's generated out of these generative AI systems to make sure that they're accurate. It's just not there right now. I understand the super pressure. Okay, we're not going to talk about that. Oh my God, same. Not sure what that's about. So how do we transition with the loss of jobs? Be one of the people that's educated about generative AI in your category. So even if you're a copywriter and copywriting gets hammered, I don't know why Midjourney is not going. Why is it not going? I'll come back to that. If it does anything cool, I'll come back to it. I don't know that there's an antidote to having whatever industry you're in be affected by this. The only thing I know is if you're one of the people that is up to speed on AI, and AI comes in and the company's like, we got to figure this AI thing out. Does anybody know anything about this? If you're one of those people that raises your hand, or people already know is doing this, you're going to be in a better position than someone who's not. So that's my only thought right now is get as aggressive as possible about learning these tools, and that's going to help with the transition. How do we utilize AI on keywords? It's great at keywords. Give it a bunch of content and have it pull out keywords for you, or have it write you keyword heavy blog posts, and give it a set of keywords and then have it write content that dynamically incorporates those and dynamically incorporates hyperlinks of your content within it. It's great at that stuff. Any of that kind of stuff, it's really good. What does Storyvine do? So Storyvine is my company. It's a video storytelling platform. So we've got an app that guides an end user through telling a story. So we do a lot of work in healthcare and pharma, for example. So if Pfizer wants one of their patients to talk about what it's like to have a certain disease, our app will actually guide the patient step by step through the storytelling process. So introduce yourself here, take a picture of yourself. What did it feel like when you were diagnosed? How have you been treating it? How are you, what's going on today? What are your hopes and dreams for the future? So they answer questions in our app. That goes up to the cloud. 5 minutes later, you got a fully edited video. And we call it auto magic editing. And so that's what the platform does. We've been around for 11 years. Like I said, we're mostly in healthcare and pharma. I'm looking at all this AI stuff, and there's a lot of what we do that the value of it goes to zero, like the automation. Everything's going to be automated in a year or two. But there's some things that we do, like authentic human storytelling. We're really good at that. I think the value of that goes up in a world where there's infinite content generation, right? So we'll see. But that's what I'm in the middle of trying to figure out is where's our value proposition? What goes up? What goes down? How do we survive? Because we're going to be slapped upside our head, just like everyone else is. I'm just trying to be on top of it. Is your company hiring software engineers? Not right now. We are not hiring. Listening. Okay. Does ChatGPT do images? No, but Midjourney does, Stable Diffusion does, Adobe Firefly does, and DALL-E does. GPT-4 is multimodal, but it's not live yet. And what that means is GPT-4, you'll be able to upload an image and it can analyze that image. And so you can interact with GPT-4 with images, but it's not live yet. Minneapolis, thoughts on Google Generative AI course? I've heard it's good. Is it something worth learning for someone not in tech? Yes. So Risa, this is a really interesting thing. There's kind of two flavors of, do you want to learn about AI? One is, do you want to learn about AI to go into machine learning and sort of the science of AI? And the other one is, do you want to learn about AI to use generative AI as a tool in business? That's a very different thing, right? So I'm not a machine learning person. I'm not a scientist. I have a degree in acting. But I'm an entrepreneur. And I get really passionate about new technologies that I think can transform how we do business. That's sort of what I've spent my career doing. And so I think this is a big one. And so I'm not interested in learning. I only want to know enough about how the tools work so I can understand what they are and what their limitations are and what their possibility is. Beyond that, I don't give a shit. I'll let the uber geeks and the engineers do all that. I'm interested in the other side of this. So I haven't looked at the Google's generative AI course. I assume it's more on the latter side of this inflection point that's about how do you use these tools in business. So if it's that, I would say it's very worth learning it. It'll teach you some of the basics. It'll get you up to speed. I'd say more important than taking what you think is the perfect class, start playing. Go to chat.openai.com. Start playing, start learning. Just throw pasta at the wall. See what it's good at. See what it's bad at. Keep playing. Share what you're learning. Do projects for people for free. One of the women that has been in the lives, she said she started learning this stuff, and she set a goal for herself to teach 1,000 people about generative AI, whatever she's learning. She set a goal to teach 1,000 people. She's now making $10,000 per engagement to teach companies how to do this because she started learning it and just putting herself out there. So I'd say just get curious, learn, get hungry, play, tell people about it, do projects for people, tell other people how to do it, and good things will happen. I like that. I'm confident of. I think there's a solid 2-year period where if you're decent at this stuff and sort of put yourself out there as being decent at this stuff, not like in a braggy way, but like in a I'm excited about this way, good things will happen. Google is so 5 minutes ago. Google's struggling to catch up right now. Machine learning is going to be the problem. Singularity will happen when they learn how to code. It already knows how to code. Singularity might happen when it learns how to autonomously code, and that's what AutoGPT is. It's not aware of what it does right now, so I think we have some time until the singularity. My guess is 5-ish years. That's sort of Ray Kurzweil saying 2029. Some big AI scientists are saying 2030. So that's probably about right. What are the biggest moats in the AI space? So what you're talking about there. So moats are like what are competitive advantages? There was a Google engineer that just wrote a piece. It was an internal memo that was apparently leaked. I don't know if it was leaked or if it was leaked. But it basically talks about the fact that Google and OpenAI don't have a moat. The title of the piece was, "We have no moat." And what they were basically saying is that for $100, the developer community can train one of these open source large language models to essentially be as good as what it took Google like a year and $10 million to train. And so that there's what he's saying is there's no competitive advantage for us spending all this money to make these core models because the open source community is just knocking this shit off like that. I think it's one of the big concerns of investors right now is that almost any company, you're going to be able to replicate it essentially easily overnight without a lot of money. I think it's going to be a universal problem. So I don't know. For me, I think where companies may have some competitive advantage is with unique data sets. So there was you've heard of Bloomberg, the financial services. They just created a thing called Bloomberg GPT, which is a GPT tool sitting on top of all of their proprietary data, which they charge a shitload of money for, right? But if you want access to that data, you'll pay for that, and that's something that they can control. So that might be it, but I don't know. I think it's honestly a really big. It's a big challenge. I think being flexible. I think moving fast. I think experimenting a lot, not getting too locked into a single model, because things are going to change really quickly. So, wish I had a better answer for that. All right. So many good questions here. They're great questions here. All right. Thoughts about Runway. So Runway is Runway ML. They've got 2 video creation tools, one called Gen 1, one called Gen 2. Gen 1 allows you to upload a 3 or 4 second video clip of like a person walking, and then you can make it a claymation animation, and it'll be the person walking, but they'll be in claymation. That's Gen 1. Gen 2 is you just describe a video. Woman in a field with the breeze blowing. There's a woman in the field with the breeze blowing. They've got a head start. While their tools are remarkable, the videos have a lot of artifacts in them. So I think a year from now, they're going to be remarkable. When you can do a 30-second video clip, that doesn't have artifacts in it and it looks pretty realistic, they're going to be amazing. So I think they're definitely ones to watch. They're definitely they've got the lead in the video space right now for generating generative AI for video. I think there's going to be a lot of competitors in the space, and I think it's going to start moving quite quickly. What's the best AI for character design? There was just one that came out called Taffy. Taffy. Hang on, let me show you. Let's see. Is it called Get Taffy? I think you go to gettaffy.com. Get TAFI. Is that right? No. Hold, please. Taffy might not be the right thing. Taffy character. Make Taffy. Make Taffy. Go to maketaffy.com. And then AI. Yeah, so they've got a... So you describe the character. So what they say? Give him a uniform that looks like he's from a sci-fi film. Bang. Woman with mid-hair length. So this isn't out yet, but you can register for the beta here. So maketaffy.com. I don't know if they're the best. The interesting thing about these guys is they've been doing character design engines for a long time, and now they're putting generative AI sitting on top of it. So I think you're going to start to see that with Unity and with Unreal Engine and with all these 3D tools that are incredibly complicated, throwing a generative AI layer on top of it to basically just deal with all the complexity. So the interface of these incredibly powerful tools just becomes language, just becomes your ability to ask for what you want. All right, I gotta go soon. I gotta go. It's been hours. It's been hours, man. It's been hours. I see Google putting Bard in Google Home. Bard's gonna be in everything. So Bard's gonna be in Office 365. It's gonna be in Google Home. It's gonna be in the car thing. Mercedes just announced they're putting ChatGPT in the car drivey thingy. I'm sure Apple will do that when they come out with theirs. They will come out with one because they've got the hardware. What's cool about Apple, if you pay close attention to their Vision Pro announcement, two things that I thought were baller moves. They didn't use the word metaverse once, and they didn't use the phrase AI once. But they used machine learning, and they used vectors, and they used inferences. They used a lot of the terminology of machine learning. And what they were basically saying is they can do all that shit on chip. Now, why is that important? Because right now, a lot of the AI stuff that we're playing with, we're sending our data to OpenAI, which they're using it for training. And depending on how secure or not that data is, that's risky. If you're actually doing all of the AI processing locally on the chip, on your phone, on your goggles, on your watch, whatever it might be, their ability to do high privacy generative AI and autonomous agents, they're going to, I don't know that anyone's going to be able to compete with them because they're the ones that have always taken this privacy shit really seriously. And so the fact that they've got, privacy chips on the devices and they're going to be able to do a lot of the machine learning processing locally means they're going to be, I think they're going to show up with a bang. But I agree with you. I think these tools are going to be incorporated into everything. Like it's going to be, how the internet is in everything right now? Like that's what's going to happen with these generative AI tools. They're just going to be part of the fabric of how we interact with machines moving forward. Google made one of the biggest blunders since the new Coke. Yeah, Google fucking invented the transformer and then didn't jump on it. And they let other people do it. And OpenAI took the shit seriously, and they did GPT-1, GPT-2, GPT-3, which started to get a bunch of press, and people were like, holy shit, this GPT-3 thing's really good. And then another year went by, and nothing from anyone. And then OpenAI puts out ChatGPT, and it goes from 0 to 100 million users in 6 weeks. So it wasn't like Google didn't have fair warning of what was coming. But what they couldn't anticipate, and what Microsoft didn't think would happen, and even OpenAI didn't think would happen, nobody thought ChatGPT would be a hit. It was just a shitty little piece of software they wrote in 2 weeks to put out as an example of what you can do with this in conjunction with the Microsoft announcement. And it went to 100 million people in 6 weeks. Caught everyone off guard, and now Google's on their heels going, oh, fuck, we got to catch up. Ah! So yes, it is a big blunder. But they're big money with a big company with a lot of fucking money. So, and they got a bunch of smart people there. So I would not count them out just yet, but they are definitely on their heels. The company that makes ChatGPT is OpenAI. ChatGPT doesn't focus on graphics, but the DALL-E can. Yeah, that's correct. There's right now all of these tools are very disparate little. It's like we're in the spit and duct tape phase of this part of the industry right now. How would I use AI for getting movie investors? I've written 7 screenplays and I didn't successfully get any movie investors, so I'm not the right person to ask for that. I mean, that's such a business of relationships. Like what I would probably do is I would have ChatGPT give me strategies on how to navigate Hollywood politics, right? Because it's part of it is just grinding out, sending out inquiry letters and pitches and doing all that shit. But a lot of it is who you know and how you know them and how you get connected. So I would probably, if I were getting back in that game, I would take the game of show business a fuck ton more seriously, and I'd have ChatGPT help me with that. Old man, gonna get old. All right, I'm gonna do a few more questions here, and then I'm gonna go. It's Sunday night. We are all doing what we're doing. We're all hanging out here. I appreciate you hanging out with me. Let's see. It's cool you're each talking to each other. There are false positives with those checkers. Yeah, there was someone was asking about the university education checkers. How do they check the things? There was some university dude that he ran all of the people's papers through a GPT checker, and 100% of them tested positive for GPT, and so he failed everyone. And most of the class hadn't used ChatGPT. Some of them didn't even know what it was. So yeah, that's just a blip. I would just ignore that shit for now. Best way to access unrestricted ChatGPT: go to the open source community. So there's a thing called GPT for All, which I think you install it locally on your machine, and then it gives you access to a bunch of open source large language models. Most of them don't have any of the safety guardrails on them. So that's how you can do it. I don't have anyone to suggest because a new one comes out every other day and I can't keep up with it. So I said, fuck it. So I'm going to if you want to geek out on open source models, just go to Reddit, open source LLM, and just get into those communities. There's all sorts of projects there they're doing remarkable fucking things, but I can't keep up with it. So I'm not playing over there. MIT's offering an online course teaching AI basics. Is it worth taking? Again, I would just understand which side of the AI fence you're on. If you want to go into the machine learning and science side of the thing, that's probably what MIT is teaching. If it's something like Wharton School of Business teaching it, it's probably more on how you use the AI rather than building it. So just figure out which side of the fence you're on and then find courses that work with that. And again, I don't think, if you just want sort of the baseline education, those courses might be good. But anything sort of trying to keep up with what's happening with these tools, just start playing with them. Just start using them. Is there any way for chat to remember my preferences, like giving me a glossary of terms? Not right now. And that's something that I think I saw interface. I think someone leaked some interface from OpenAI that they're going to have a profile that you'll be able to put in, a bunch of shit about yourself that it can always answer in context of who you are. So I think that's coming. It's not there right now, and it's a pain in the ass that it's not there. I never liked Google back in the 90s. I preferred Alta Vista and Ask Jeeves. Yeah, Alta Vista was baller, and then Google did their thing, and they figured out how to do it a little bit better than everyone else. And then they got to like 94% market share, and then they got sloppy. And somebody invented ChatGPT. Now the game has changed. So it is very possible that they end up not on the top of the heap anymore. What's it called? Runway AI. Runway ML is what Runway is called. All right, how do I join the AI salon? Thesalon.ai will take you to a link tree that's got a link to our Discord server and our meetups. Our next meetup is Tuesday night, and we have a guy named Christian Robbins, who's a chief creative officer at a post-production house, and he's coming and he's going to talk about how they're incorporating AI into their entire workflow in video post-production. That should be really interesting. Good night. This helped a lot. Good night. I must go meditate before bed. Yeah, I know. I get it. People are making money selling customizable Midjourney prompts on Etsy. Yeah, I would say rather than buying prompts, I mean, you can get them for free. They're all over the place for free. But I think right now it's actually valuable to learn how to do it yourself. So just go play with prompting and learn about prompting. But I don't know. I wouldn't pay for that shit right now. Stuff's moving way too fast. Can you show what's the screen behind you? Oh, yes. Sorry. So, chat.openai.com, that's the official ChatGPT website. Bing.com, if you go to their to their chat button, that's ChatGPT-4 for free, connected to the internet. Poe.com has ChatGPT and some other models in it, and you can create your own bot and play with other people's bots. Prompts.chat will teach you about prompting for ChatGPT. And then Futurepedia.io is a giant directory of AI tools. So, does that give you what you need? Speaking of films, what site, channel, app do you recommend to learn about short films and story? I don't know. I don't know about. I haven't been in the writing game for fucking ever, but unless you're talking about super up to date screenplays, like ChatGPT 3.5 probably knows all the movies up until September 2021, and then you could use ChatGPT connected to the internet after that. Like it knows. Like if you want help with story, you can go there and say, I want you to give me the story frameworks from Sid Field's Save the Cat and Joseph Campbell's Hero's Journey. And it will give you all those and say, now create a hybrid that mixes the best of the concepts from those three story frameworks into my own custom story framework. And it'll do that. And then you can just basically have it help you create a story framework and then go fill it in with your story. I don't know that you need to go any. Like I kind of feel like we all now have a professor in our pocket. Like ChatGPT can just teach you that shit, and then do it for you, and then like collaborate with you to actually bring something to life. Can ChatGPT help me develop a likable personality? Actually, it probably can. Like, if you tell it what you don't like about your personality, tell it to come up with like a 30-day plan for improving. How do I be less of a whatever you're not happy with? It could probably actually help with that. That would be a good experiment, actually, right? Like maybe yes. Speaking of films, okay, we did that one. In business, they tell you to use professionals and focus what you're good at. Yep. Is there a chat GPT-4 app? So there are 8,000 ChatGPT apps that are all faker apps that are just trying to get your money. So on my phone, I don't use the OpenAI ChatGPT app, but there is one. I'll tell you how to get it. What I do is I go to that URL in Safari on my iPhone, and then I make it a bookmark to that page. So I have like one of the icons at the bottom of my phone is ChatGPT, and I'm just going to the website. If you want to use the official ChatGPT app, go to openai.com without the chat. Go to openai.com, go to products, and go to ChatGPT, and you'll see a link to the official app. It's essentially impossible to find in the App Store because there's so many fake ones. Thanks for the knowledge. It's time to sleep. It is time to sleep. All right, for story. All right, one more question. I found that even with the app's help, we still must do. I'm not sure what that means. All right. And you keep asking about the real ChatGPT app. Go to openai.com, products, ChatGPT. That's the official app. There'll be a link there. It's iOS only right now, not Android. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on a Sunday night. Happy Father's Day to everyone. Hope you're all doing well, and have a good night. I'll see you probably tomorrow. Peace out, everybody.